Okay, so it's main bearings now. The engine strip occurred because of main bearing failure. I did a video and I'll insert it here. Engine seized, and it's the main bearing, one of the main bearings. That's what it looks like. It's got a beautiful colour. Okay, so what to get? The polymer bearings seemed good, and that's like this. The cage, plastic cage effectively. So you can see the balls, they're open. And the SKF technical data didn't mention petrol and oil. So I rang the French technical support, and this is an email. So I rang Sweden, and she tried loads of different lines, and they were all not picking up. And I said, okay, thanks, you know. And so in the end, I emailed French technical support of SKF. Of course, they didn't reply. But on various forums and websites, I think Scooter Attack is selling some, and everybody's saying that in actual fact they're the best. You know, they're like frictionless. They're better than the steel cages as crank bearings, as crankshaft bearings. So hey ho, we have two of them. And if you lose one bearing, normal practice is to replace both bearings. I mean, that's the old one, and it's got play. They've all got a little bit of play. It's got quite a bit of play, and they were new. They weren't SKF. They were Koyo. Koyo, apparently made in Japan. Yeah, the other bearing, they were both new, and the other bearing didn't do that well, you know, didn't last that long. So anyway, so we're trying these fancy race bearings, which they fit in high performance engines, and they're not. I got these for a decent price, but you know, you can pay quite a lot. So look around, and yeah, that's what's going in. So yeah, right. Okay, so fitting the bearing. I don't know whether you can see, but this is the bearing face is open to the inside of the crankcase. Okay, so the petrol and oil can get around it. All right. I use a jig, and you can see there it's threaded rod and piece of aluminium and washer and a lock nut on the bottom, and then similarly a range of washers to building up to match whatever bearing is going in. And ideally you want the washer to be big enough for the outer diameter, as you can see, like that. Okay, so it's just big enough so it presses on the outer diameter. What you do is, the first thing you do is you rotate the bearing until it feels like it's found its place, and that might seem strange, but there will be a place where it just feels right, and you can just press it and get it started. You want to check the heights, because it'll always be cockled. It'll always be down at one side and up at the other. What I tend to do is, well, you can first just give it a tap and try and square it up. Then I like to put some pressure on with my bearing press. It takes just a few minutes to make, presuming that you always have a stock of threaded rod in your drawers. And the point is that when you put some pressure on, you can give it a tap, and what you need to do, you want a decent hammer, ideally copper and hide, it's great, you know. You need enough, the washer wants to be just to leave enough around so you can just, you know, you want it on to be a nice flat surface on a workbench that can absorb the impact, doesn't vibrate. And I use vernier gauge just to check, go around and see where the highest point is, and then just give it a tap, boomf, and you'll feel it when it gets straight. You'll feel it go down. And if you're on the high point and you hit it and it's not going, you know, just hit it a touch harder. You can heat up around here and here, so you can warm it around the housing, and warm around here and here, so that it all just warms up nicely. You know, you don't have to go mad. You can just warm it. It's aluminium and it expands, you know. So you can just warm up around it carefully, all around. You know, you can see on YouTube sometimes, you know, people are just concentrating on around here, you know, when in actual fact this metal's got to expand somewhere. So this metal's got to expand. Hang on. All the metal needs to be warmed up a little bit. You can get away without doing that, but it just helps a touch. Now, once you've got it going in, it should go down nice and steady. If you haven't got it straight, it will lock up. So don't force it. You know, this isn't. It's not like a silver bullet. You know, it doesn't just get it in straight first off. You need to get it going in straight by giving it a tap. Generally speaking, it will then find its parallel position, and this will go slack. You can then you can tighten her up and check that it's going in nicely. Once it's going, it should be fine. And you can just dial her in. And then you should feel it lock. And that's locked. Yeah, it won't go any further. So it's in. And we haven't strained anything. You know, we're applying all the force on the outside, and no parva. You know, we're not whacking. We've just, there's a little bit of a tap to get it going in right, and then yeah, then it should follow. Its once it's going in, it should follow nicely. Okay. Cool. We'll do the other one. Okay, so that's the other side in. Yeah, it was a bit more fiddly to get it started, this one, and then suddenly it went in really easy. So yeah, we've got our polymer cage bearings in now, and time to move on. All right, see you later, guys.